anyway of that, unless something miraculous happens, but it might help him out. Gentilozzi's a little loose. He got the back end stepping out going into 5, and that's allowed Miller to close up on the exit.
Remember, initially, in the beginning, Boris's car is quicker, faster right away. It takes a little while for Paul and Johnny's car to get up to speed because of the tire situation. But they are going to work their tires even harder now because they have no time. They can't wait 4 laps now.
Well, and we talked at the top of the show how crucial the carousel and the kink are, and this is where bravado will pay out big, but you still need grip through here to be brave. And if Paul and Johnny are struggling a little bit, and Boris' car is hooked up right now, you would think right here and through the kink he's going to make up some ground as we're on board with Miller.
Well, you know what? Boris is really not taking off too fast. I mean, you know, Gentilozzi and Johnny are gonna hustle him.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to hustle him. And then you got Stu Hainer back there, and Stu's going to try to put as much pressure on the Gentilozzi team as he can.
Right there's Gentilozzi, the blue Jag, Miller behind him, the white Corvette of Hainer behind them. Go back on board with Miller, and you can see they are staying with Boris. They're not giving him anything yet.
Oh, yeah.
They're staying with him, and with every corner, those tires are coming up to a little bit better temp. And that's exactly what these Jags are waiting for. As a matter of fact, Gentilozzi now, as he drops a wheel on the exit, he's fairly close. We'll give you the official measurement, and it's a half second, and that's how close it is. We have 2 to go.
Gentilozzi and Miller are stout. I mean, we got 2 laps to go, right? 8 miles, baby. 8 miles. Let's get it on for the big 8.
Now, the last lap time. Boris set it at 2:12.7, 2 minutes 12.7. So did Gentilozzi. Miller at 2:12.6. Then a 2:13.7 from Hainer and a 2:15 from Ruman. And he has still got Dreese and Pickett and Lewis and Ave behind him. So right now, this lead group of 3 are the 3 quickest cars on the track.
Oh, yeah. And they know, well, all 3 of them know that, hey, with so little time left, you're going to have to start taking chances. They're going to start driving a little harder, even though the tires are not as good. They're going to drive it harder in this last lap and a half than they will the whole race.
And a reference for Leitzinger, by the way, he has currently scored 21st spot because of the time in the gravel and then that stop. He is now down. He is down a couple of laps. So Leitzinger's championship hopes certainly taking a beating here, if not an absolute thrashing. Meanwhile, look at that. Both of the Jags loose as they come sweeping through that corner out of turn 8, just trying right now to stay with Boris Said. It looks like Boris has actually opened it up just a little.
Oh, yeah, you can see Boris is not having to drive so hard to go fast.
And Bob Ruman has gone off. That was 5th spot. Ruman was in 5th. He's gone off, and Lewis is off with him. Maybe a little contretemps right there, as Lewis had Pickett, Ruman, then Dreese, then Ruman. I don't know exactly how that may have unfolded, but Ruman was shown farther up the order. You can see Butch has stopped again. That's why he lost that other lap. And they've taken the entire bodywork off the top of the engine. Meanwhile, there's Tony Ave and Ruhlman. That's Randy Ruhlman, teammate to Leitzinger, squeezing by underneath Tommy Dreese. Remember, Ruhlman in that Freeform Line Products Coyote Fasteners bet had that brilliant come from behind drive to 2nd place at Trois Rivières from dead last early on. And that car right in the mix, 17. Great to have him back behind that car. Last lap. 1 to go, and the margin this time by Boris had opened it up to just a tick over a second, so Boris looks to have this one in control.
Hey, this is the money lap. This is the money shot here, Greg. And if all Boris has to do is just remain cool and smooth. I mean, Boris is not smoking his tires. He's not driving off sideways. He's smooth. It looks like Paul and Johnny have got to drive a little harder to run the same speed that Boris is running.
Yeah, they have to work harder.
They got to work harder.
That's that tires, I would imagine. They just don't work as quick, so they have to push them maybe too hard, too early, overheat them a little bit. And nonetheless, Boris has them covered.
And Boris can see that in the mirror. Boris is watching these guys, and he's watching them slip and slide. And Boris knows that he's not doing that. Boris says, okay, you boys, come get me. Work, right?
Use it up.
Yeah, use it up.
And he's doing it to perfection right now. There is Boris, then Gentilozzi, Miller, and then Hainer. And he turned a 2:12.5 last lap, so Hainer's up the ante, but Ave and all that traffic with all of the incidents, they've actually turned laps well off this pace, trying to work through some traffic. If Boris hangs on, it'll be his 7th career win, his 2nd at Elkhart Lake. He got his first Trans Am win here in 1995. So it's been a long dry spell at Road America for Boris in Trans Am cars, and he's going to be loving this one. Truly one of his all-time favorite tracks. And I get the feeling that Hayner now, he may be looking at doing something here. He's got nothing to lose either. He wants to come up into this, see what he can do. Last time into Canada Corner. They've gone through the kink. This is the Canada Corner right-hander. And now up through 13. And Miller starting to really pressure his teammate and owner. Well, that's an iffy proposition, working the conscience of Johnny Miller here. Last turn, Boris Said, then Gentilozzi, then Miller onto the front straight. Here comes Hayner, and it looked, nobody's got the answer for Boris today. And Boris Said up the hill. There flies Willie Checkered flag. Boris Said taking the win after an incredibly eventful race here. We're on board with Paul Menard, the young rookie. This is 8th, 9th, and 10th. Menard trying to crack the top 10 in his first Trans Am, and does so. Great drive by the rookie. We haven't had a chance to chat a lot about Paul. This is a driver with a great future here. Won a couple of Grand Am races in AGT earlier this year in Grand Am, and has also been a winner here at Road America in stock cars. Let's go down to Brian Till.
You know, they say it takes a true team effort, and these guys really worked hard. Neil Wheatley, the crew chief, Chris Willis, the engineer, and Joe Hoffacker, who makes the power underneath that Panos car. You guys put a car underneath Boris today, and he did everything he could with it.
Yep. We couldn't ask for more.
Chris, any tough strategy calls with all the yellows? I mean, kind of unexpected here on a track this long.
Yeah, I mean, with this kind of track, I'm kind of always worried about other guys trying to go the distance without getting fuel. And with all these yellows, I thought maybe it might happen, but luckily it worked out in our favor.
Well, and Joe, when you guys come to a racetrack like this, as an engine builder for these guys, anything special you got to do for these long straightaways?
No, not really. We tune them for the track, but it's the joint effort here on the ACS Express that does the job. These guys are tremendous.
Well, we said it was a true team effort, and I think the guys that they like more than anybody is the guy that pushes the pedals in the car. They are 100% behind their driver, Boris Said.
Yeah, it's easy to get 100% Boris. He is, 1, a great driver. 2, he is as fun a person as you're ever going to come across. And 3, he executes to perfection on the track. And right now, he is enjoying the victory lap here at Road America. We'll come back and visit with Boris and the rest of our podium in just a second. Today's Speed Channel coverage of the Trans Am Series for the BF Goodrich Tires Cup has been brought to you by AmeriSuites, the preferred hotel of the Trans Am Series. Well, this 8th round of a very close championship certainly gave us some unique twists and turns, Willie. And obviously, Boris Said enjoying the spoils of victory, the points and the like. But I'll tell you what, who knows what would have happened if Michael Lewis wouldn't have got that black flag, or Tony Ave for that matter. But this guy, talk about maximizing opportunity, is with Calvin Fish.
Boris, 4th win this year, mate, and I know it was a flat-out race. Tell us, first of all, about what you saw with Kenny in the big crash in turn 13.
I mean, it was unfortunate for Kenny. I mean, he just dropped a wheel on the outside in the dirt, and it just, snapped the car into the bridge. And it was a scary thing to see, but I heard he's going to be all right, so that's good. But I can't say enough about, Mike and Sandy Davis, what they gave me to drive. This Panos Esperani was really fast today. I mean, we got a lot of great sponsors, Redline Oil. I mean, Joe Huffaker gave us a great motor here. I mean, we had everybody beat up the straightaway, and that's good at Road America.
What about the Jags at the end? Paul and Johnny were coming on strong, but your car looked like it was really balanced towards the end of the run.
Oh, yeah, I mean, our car was as good at the beginning as it was at the end. I mean, we had Menard's power on board this weekend, and I got to say thanks to my teammate, Paul Menard. He gave up pit position for me to let me pit first under yellow, and it was a great deal. And I want to say hi to all my friends at No Fear Spy, Sun Microsystems, and thanks a lot.
Well, Boris increases his championship lead, and we move on to the next one. He's hot this year, Greg.
He is having the season he's been looking for. It's amazing to think this gentleman doesn't have a championship under a belt in this series, the way he drives. Well, maybe that'll happen this year. But the guy he's going to scrap with him for it, 3-time champion Paul Gentilozzi, and he's with Brian Till.
Yeah, the championship's far from over. Gentilozzi not going to let Boris get away, but you gained a lot on Butch today. Yes. Looked like he had a better car on long runs, and that restart with a few laps to go really was not what you wanted to see.
Well, I don't know that we would have caught Boris, considering he had about a 4.5-second lead there, but the car was really good and balanced, and I knew I was in trouble. I wanted Boris to keep going hard on those caution laps. Then we caught the pace car, and the fronts cooled off, and then in a couple spots I had a major oversteer back in the kink.
Well, it's one of those loose cars again, like you talked about, Willie. Not what you wanted to drive here, but if anybody could do it, it's this man, Paul Gentilozzi. Calvin?
Well, Johnny Miller was giving his boss a hard time there at the end, but tell us about the scrap you had with Butch. That was a wild one.
Oh, man, we were going. I used a ton of car on that one. You know, I caught him, and Paul and I caught him. We reeled him in, and Paul got by him pretty good there, you know. We got really good engine programs here, and Paul got by him, and I said, okay, and I pulled up there, made the nice clean pass, and he's shoving it around. Oh, we did. I don't know how many times. We were side by side in places you don't do. You don't do that here. And I ended up winning it. But I tell you, it gave Stu a really good chance to catch us, which is what I didn't want. And there at the end, you know, I had still had a pretty good car. I was on Paul, and it was going to be a fight, and he ended up beating me out. So, yeah, you know.
Well, as always, Greg, Johnny Miller on form at Elkhart Lake.
Boy, he does the job here. There is absolutely no question of that. And that battle he was talking about with Butch, I mean, Butch absolutely adamant and brilliant in defense. But Johnny Miller was just relentless, certainly. Let's take a look at the results here, and you see Boris with the win, Gentilozzi, Miller, Hayner fourth. Tony Ave, with everything that unfolded, ended up with a very strong fifth. A great drive. Randy Ruhlman, another good finish. And Greg Pickett, again, 78 champ, back again and up in the top 10 with a car, frankly, that runs in GT1 trim. Different story there. Here's now 11th through 20th, and you start to see some of the stories. There's Michael Lewis losing out a little bit. And Bob Ruhlman, who was fourth when he ended up off in the gravel in turn 8. That certainly hurt him just a little bit. And you notice we still haven't even seen Butch Leitzinger in this rundown. And that's the story in a sense, Willie, because Leitzinger's points, he took a severe beating.
That hurt him. That finishing down hurt him. But, you know, Butch, like I said, he's won 3 out of the last 5 races. So he'll be ready to come back and get him again. What was interesting is that Boris put him in a headlock right at the end of the race. He put everybody in a headlock.
He let him know. Let's take a look now. You want to remind you, coming up today, 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on Speed, is the Grand Prix of Road America for the Kart FedEx Championship. Do not miss it. Some more great action coming at you from right here at Road America. The next Trans Am race coming up, Denver, Colorado, the streets of downtown Denver, 2 p.m. Eastern Time on Speed. That's Sunday, September 1st. Do not miss that. Thanks for joining us here. Remember, SpeedTV.com for all your racing information online. Check it out. For Willie T. Ribbs, for Calvin Fish, and for Brian Till, I'm Greg Kramer. Thanks so much for joining us here at Road America. We'll see you next time right back here on Speed Channel. Take care, everybody.